In this lecture, I'm going to show you how to remove a node at the end of a doubly linked list. For this method, I'm going to call it pop. Doesn't take any arguments. So looking at our pseudocode, we're going to take care of two edge cases. The first is for length of 0. So if the length for this dot length is equal to 0, then return undefined. Second edge case, check for length of 1. In that case, if this dot length is equal to 1, then essentially what we're going to do is reset all the value, or we're going to remove the one and only node that currently exists and reset all the values to their default values here. So the head will be null, tail null, length of 0. So let's go ahead, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and copy this here. Paste it right in there. All right, so that's that. And also because we are removing a node, we're still going to have to decrement. So we'll do this dot yeah, you know what? Yeah, I mean, you could do it like this, or if you wanted to, you could also just do minus minus, and then of course I'll reset it back to 0. But I guess it's okay to just do it like this. That's fine. All right, and then I do want to return this. So even though, so I still want to return the empty object as it is. All right, so that takes care of our edge cases. So now, in this case, this assumes that we have more than one node in our list. So at this point, what we're going to do is store the new tail in a variable. So in this case, if we look at this right here, I'm pushing in a total of three nodes, and it creates this structure here. And remember, because we're dealing with doubly linked lists, it has arrow pointing forward and back, so in both directions here. All right, so this is currently the tail right now, 24. So what this statement here is, store the new tail in a variable. So what I want to do is store the node before the tail, which is this one here, in a variable. So I'm gonna, because the reason for that is because this will become the new tail, right? Because pop, the purpose of it is to remove the last node. So once we pop this off, then this becomes a new node, or the new tail, I should say. So I'm gonna do const new tail, and this dot tail, meaning this here, and to point it to this way, we have to do dot prev. All right, so now at this point, because we added the prev, now it's referencing this node here. So now new tail is referring to this node here. All right, so next, what do we want to do? Well, next is we want to make the new tail's next property become null. So now that the new tail is this here, we want to make sure that its pointer pointing to the right or to the next, that it becomes null, or it kind of cuts off or severs that pointer pointing to 24. So the way we're going to do that is new tail dot next equals null. So by doing that, we essentially break this arrow here all together here, which automatically, because that connection or that pointer is removed because we set it to null, then it deletes that value of the 24, which was to the right of it. Now the next step is to make this 7 become the new tail. So the way we're going to do that is this dot tail is the new tail. And finally, we are removing an item, so I'm going to do this dot length minus minus, and we're going to return this. And there you go. So that's it for that. So let me let me set this back up the way it was, the way it's drawn out based on this. It currently looks like this. So as you can see, I haven't used my pop method. So let's just go ahead and take a look at this in the console without the pop. See how that our list looks like. So you see the length of 3, and the head is 2, which is here. This, and the tail is 24, which is here. All right, so the pop, once we do list.pop like this action should remove this 24, including its pointer to it, and end up like this. So let's go ahead and save that and rerun the code, and like you can see, we get a length of 2. If I expand this, you see the head is the 2, which is here, and the tail is the one with the value of 7, which is here. And if I expand the tail and look at the previous, look at what it's pointing to. It's pointing to the node with the value of 2, which is pointing backwards, pointing here to 2. All right, there you go. And let's see. Yeah, all right, so there you go. So there's our pop method. And that was fairly short and simple. There you go.